guys, so it's me Kaylee, and today I'm going to be doing a video on 5 ways to save money on your wedding. So my wedding is a month away from today and we are so excited. We cannot wait. We still have a lot of stuff to do, but everything's sort of starting to fall into place. So I'm just going to show you guys everything we have for the wedding. We have our vases and just some like decor, the cupcakes, some signs, bird cages, some lights, not sure if we're going to be using those or not, a jug to hold like tea and lemonade. We're going to be getting another one of these, maybe like 2 or 3 of them are going to have lemonade, I think some like flavored water and some sweet tea. And then these little things are to hang on the pews of the church to put some flowers in. We're just going to be putting baby's breath in here, and I'll talk about that in the 5 ways. Alright guys, so I'm just going to jump on in here. Number 1, I think it's really important to create a overall budget for what you want to spend on your wedding, whether that be $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000. I think it's important to create a frame of what you want to keep your wedding into, because if you just start spending and spending and not keeping track of your spending, it's going to create like a snowball avalanche, and then you'll be spending like $30,000 on your wedding. So if you want to try to keep your wedding on the cheaper side, I think it's important to create a budget and then lay out everything that you're going to be buying and make sure that it fits into your budget and that you're planning on that stuff to create your final budget. Because I think that if you don't create a parameter of what you want to stay into, it can get really expensive really fast, and you'll find yourself spending money that you don't have or that you don't want to be spending on your wedding. So for number 2, I think that it's important to decide what you want to spend a lot of your wedding budget on. For example, I spent a lot of money on the wedding the wedding pictures was the most expensive thing we spent on the whole wedding. The wedding dress was sort of more on the expensive side. It wasn't really expensive, but it definitely wasn't like cheap, but it wasn't expensive, if that makes sense. It was just a wedding dress, but it was something that we spent a lot of our budget on, and that our budget kind of revolved around that number. And the third thing that we budgeted a lot for was food, because obviously you get 120 people in your wedding, you're going to be spending a lot on food. But to my next point, number 3, decide what you can save money on. For example, for food, you can have like a buffet, you can have like a potluck even if you want to. For us, we're going to be doing Chinese food because Chinese food's relatively cheap and you can get a lot of it for cheap. We're not doing the plated meals because those tend to run really expensive. So if you don't want to spend $30 a person because you're having a large wedding, or just like us where you have a lot of people you want to invite but you don't want to spend a fortune, just have something that's cheap. Have finger foods, or you can have it during like breakfast hours and do like a brunch with eggs and croissants and donuts or something fun. You can think outside of the box, or have like a like a 2 o'clock tea time wedding or something like that. We're doing our wedding at dinner time, but like I said before, we're just doing Chinese food, so it's really not going to be a lot. We've budgeted like $1,000 for the Chinese food, and that's like 120 people. So really you have a lot of ideas that you can work with to not spend a lot of money, but you can try to do it things that will be cheap. And another hack I have for cheap wedding, I do this because no wedding is ever going to be super cheap, but just pick cheap flowers. Like for me, we're doing carnations, and I didn't even know they were a cheap flower until I went into the florist and I said that I wanted to do the flowers. I didn't know the name of them, and she said, oh, those are like the cheapest flowers you could pick. And I said, perfect, because we don't want to spend a lot of money on flowers. They're, they're really pretty and they really add to the wedding, which is really why I want flowers. I want my wedding to have a lot of floral to it, but don't spend a fortune on the flowers. Carnations are cheap. We're doing a lot of baby's breath, which is extremely cheap. And also look around at florists, because I know some florists can be really pricey. You can go to another florist and get the exact same thing for less, or you can even use like Costco or BJ's. We're thinking about doing that for a little bit. Costco, BJ's, Wegmans, a lot of these places will let you order bulk flowers in advance, and I'm sure it's really a lot cheaper than going to a florist. Also, my other hack for deciding what can be cheap, don't spend a lot of money on wedding shoes. Like for me, I just got my wedding shoes at Kohl's and they were like $30 because no one's gonna see your wedding shoes. They're gonna be under your dress, you know, unless you have a short dress. I really don't think that you should be spending a lot of money on wedding shoes because no one's gonna see them. So I spent $30 on the shoes. I'm perfectly happy with them and I'll wear them again. That's another thing I think is really important, is that you can wear your wedding shoes again. I would not want to get heels because I'm never gonna wear them again. These shoes are sandals. I can wear them a lot. I can wear them on my honeymoon. I can wear them after the whole wedding is over, and I can just wear them again. And they're cute shoes that I would actually want to wear again. So I think that is really important, is getting shoes that you're gonna want to wear again. And like I said, no one's gonna see them, so don't spend a lot on something like that. Okay, so moving on to hack 3. I guess I'll call it a hack. I'm not really sure if they're hacks, but just my suggestion number 3 is for decor. I really wanted kind of like a boho feel, even though that's not really what the wedding theme is. I just really want simple. Like I want to have some simple decor. So I don't want to show all of my decor because my wedding's not here yet and I don't want it to all be thrown away, but just like get your vases from Goodwill. You're never going to use the vases again, to be honest. They're just going to get tucked under your sink or maybe even redonated back to Goodwill. So buy them at Goodwill, because if you buy them at Goodwill, let me see, I got this really big vase for $2. And you know, if you go on some days, you know, things are half price. If you go and it's a red sticker for half price and it's $2 originally, you're only paying $1. So we're doing a few vases per table. We have 15 tables, $30 on vases. And like I said before, we're using cheap flowers, so those won't really be that much either. So use Goodwill. I've gotten a lot of decor from Goodwill. I've gotten my vases from Goodwill. What else have I gotten? My vases, some other decor for like the food table, just some decorations and some useful baskets and stuff can be bought from Goodwill. Or I've actually used Hobby Lobby a lot. Hobby Lobby, AC Moore, Michaels, Marshalls, anywhere where you can use that 50% off coupon. You can just go a few times a week with that coupon and buy one item, and then you can save 50% on like your cupcake holders, your beverage dispensers, just decor, like little signs that say things and everything like that. And you can also hand make some of these things, and you can buy things from Goodwill that aren't necessarily cute, and then you can buy spray paint from Walmart that's like $2, I think, and you can spray paint it and kind of like make it your own, and then you can make your wedding even more special. Okay, my last hack is hack 5. I suggest honeymooning somewhere that's cheap and familiar to you. For example, the place that me and my fiance are going is costing us probably about $500 for the whole week just to go. And also make sure you include that in your wedding budget. Thankfully, Eli's grandparents are paying for our honeymoon, so we didn't have to include that in our budget. But if you are paying for your own honeymoon, do not forget to include that in your wedding budget, because it will sneak up on you. You will plan your whole wedding under your like $5,000 budget or whichever budget you have, and then you'll say, oh my god, I forgot our honeymoon, and then you won't be able to go on, you know, any honeymoon at all. But I suggest going somewhere that you've been before, because this takes the stress out of it, and you don't want to be stressed on your honeymoon. So if you go somewhere that you know around the area, you won't be stressed out about getting lost. If you go somewhere that's in the United States, at least, you won't be worried about the language barrier or the location barrier about, you know, like driving on the wrong side of the road or knowing where things are at, you know, etc. So if you just go somewhere where you know, that takes away the stress of trying to find your way around. And also, if you know the place, you know where to stay, you know where the good airports are at, you know where to eat. So I just think that really takes the stress out of your honeymoon, and no one wants to be stressed on their honeymoon. And if you go somewhere that you know, you've been there before, so you know what places you wanted to go, but necessarily maybe didn't have time to go there before. So I think that it creates a good vibe for your honeymoon. You can just go places that you've always wanted to go but you always ran out of time going. You can just relax because you're familiar with the area and you know where the good places are. So that is my last hack. Alright guys, so that includes. Alright guys, so that concludes my 5 wedding hacks. My 5 ways to save money on your wedding. And I'm sure no matter how much money you spend or any ways that you try to cut back on your wedding, it's going to be beautiful because it is you and your new husband's day, and that's seriously all that matters at the end. Your decor, your dress, the people that come, it truly does not matter. The only thing that matters is that you and your love are getting married. That's the only thing that matters on that day. So try to not stress too much about your wedding because it's all gonna come together, and seriously the only thing that matters is seeing that person at the end of the aisle when you walk down it. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and give it a thumbs up if you like it, hit subscribe, and I really appreciate everyone watching this video. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.